Oh, well, it's up to you, dog.
It doesn't really necessarily matter. I mean, we are live. That's what I'm saying. What do you guys want to start with?
We could talk. Go ahead and hit
Well,
the My Hero up since you're already, primed to go.
What?
Yeah, well, since it's the small,
talk My Hero while I finish writing.
Okay,
small, yeah.
Okay, so first things first, I guess we'll say what's going on, people. SOULcast number 2. We actually did 2 in a row. That could be an award.
Consistency.
the consistency that we already got it is key. There's something, Lone. I know there's something you want to say about the My Hero movie. I want something I want to say about the My Hero movie. I'm not going to spoil anything or really talk about the movie. It's just watching the movie. Okay, so I read the manga. I went to go watch the movie with a friend of mine who does not read the manga, and there were several times when I'm watching the movie where I get what's going on or I get the reference they're making. But I'm thinking the mass majority of American people who watch My Hero, who know My Hero Academia, just watch the anime. They a good chunk of them don't read the manga. There's a good chunk who do read the manga, but it's not like in Japan where you assume that the average My Hero fan in Japan reads the manga and watches the anime. You would just assumingly so. So I'm watching this movie, and there's things that's nowhere near where the anime is, because I have a friend who tells me what's happening in the anime, and from where the anime is and the stuff that's happening in the movie, I'm talking like 2-3 arcs ahead. It's not like they're not overtly saying or spoiling anything, but just some characters would do an ability that I know for a fact from where the anime is they have not learned yet, because the My Hero likes to make a point out of giving a whole chapter for every single ability everybody learns. So you remember when they get the ability, it's okay, so you're doing that, but you can't do that yet on a TV show or something like that. So or they will say something, oh, this person can do this. And I was like, oh, or this person is this. And I was like, huh. Or they would show characters. I was watching, I saw, it was a character that I saw who I can't even say his name, but you all know him because he got the wings. But he's in the movie, and then I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, he's not in the anime yet, but he's in the movie.
Man, so it's like low key, kind of spoilery, even watching the movie. It's like you're watching the movie to kind of get like a little side story, you know what I'm saying? Like more My Hero without My Hero all the way, getting all the lore and all that, and they're just kind of throwing everything at you that's going to come.
This character,
I feel like it skips ahead though. Like it skips.
That's basically what I'm saying. It skips, but you're not there yet if you're anime only.
Yeah, you're nowhere near there.
Yeah, so.
Well, they didn't necessarily spoil details of the manga, Florian. There's things that hasn't happened yet that they didn't really explain, and it happened like it was an afterthought. So people watching the movie who only watched the end, they probably be like, "Oh, what the fuck was that?" And they wouldn't think twice about it, or it's like, "What did you just say?" And they wouldn't have any context. But me watching anime, I was like, "Wait, hold on, I know in vivid detail what that is." And it's just weird because like I said, when the character with the wings was on the screen, I was like, his wings are red. And then my friend was like, who's that? And then I was like, who's that? I was like, oh, wait a minute. Has he not shown up yet? And I was like...
Wild.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it could be a little treat for, I guess, people who read the manga.
No, they don't hint at it, Florian. They completely... definitely say it. And there's not a major plot. Well, some people consider it a major plot detail. The whole Deku fiasco that happened with the thing with Deku and his quirks that everybody was arguing about last year. The movie basically just spoils that.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's actually wild. Well, I mean,
it
was a throwaway line that had nothing to do with the plot. They never brought it up again. It was just the villain just noticed, it seems like he has blah 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 multiple blah blah blah, and it just goes, and I'm just like, huh? Why did you say that? Like, because the villain had the ability to see quirks, so I guess he just saw. He's like, oh, he has more than one, and I'm just like, what?
So like
in the movie,
how do you
never brings it up again? It never mentions it again. It never does anything with it. So I'm just like, I know that because I read the. See what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So that's commentary on the My Hero movie and my beef with it. Also, there's other things like the power scaling makes no freaking sense. I thought I was watching Dragon Ball Z after a while. It's like there's so many things where like there was one time when Bakugo got hit like hard And then he was like, I think I broke like 2 of my ribs. I was like, that's it? I was like, no, that's kind of insane. It just it just like Deku and Bakugo's power scaling. It was kind of like over the top. They seem as strong as any pro hero could possibly be ever in this film. But I guess Vulture and Valance, that you haven't seen the movie, and I guess just hearing that, what kind of thoughts do you guys have based off what I was saying? I guess if Vulture, if you want to go first.
Yeah, this man, I'm so done. I mean, so far it seems like it's one of those. I forgot what movie it happened in, but when Luffy fought Shiki and he beat him in like Gear Second, and we know that Shiki was one of the top 3 like pirates ever. Well, not ever, but like he had an error where he was standing next to Roger and Whitebeard, so it's like one of those movies.
Can I defend that?
Go ahead.
I could try to defend that. It's a trash defense, but I could try to defend Shiki's defeat in Strong World. All right,
Strong World.
Luffy throws up the axe. Shiki throws up and then Luffy's foot gets caught in the lightning. Shiki thinks, whatever, he's gonna get electrocuted, blah blah blah, not realizing Luffy made of rubber. The lightning covers Luffy. Luffy's already bringing the foot down. By the time Shiki realizes the foot is bringing down, he tries to stop him. Luffy, he kicks through the rocks. He hits Shiki with his giant foot that's covered in lightning. It plows through the island. The island implodes, and then all the other islands, the shock, they all fall from the sky. He just got hit, is what I'm saying. Okay, I'll put it this way. Crocodile was dramatically stronger than Luffy. The reason Luffy beat Crocodile is because Luffy put Crocodile in a meat grinder. It doesn't matter how strong you are if I just chip away at your durability with punch after 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 punch. And so with Shiki,
15 miles of plot armor, yes.
Luffy hit with an attack that shattered an island. I'm gonna say if Shiki can hit by an attack dead on that shatters an island and just gets up, then he's the strongest creature on the planet.
I mean, Roger and Whitebeard was his company at one point, so that it's like Luffy being able to generate that. You know that Garp is being able to generate that like times 3, easy. Because
you're saying if Whitebeard got hit by an attack, if Whitebeard got hit by an attack with the force that would completely capsize an island, he could just walk it off. Like,
yes,
could be that Shiki is associated with Whitebeard and Lion the same way Luffy was associated with Whitebeard.
Also, hold on. Also, my bad. My trash defense. I forgot my trash defense. Shiki was really, really old. Unlike Whitebeard, not only was Shiki really, really old, he was really, really old without combat because he was in prison for decades. His battle experience was dulled. There's a lot of factors.
Think Uncle Iroh, baby. Think Uncle Iroh. Let him give that credit.
I want to say that for the lightning thing, he definitely that shouldn't have made sense anyway because rubber doesn't conduct electricity, so his foot shouldn't have been covered
so
with
much lightning that it just stuck onto him.
It's stuck onto him. Yo. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
I cannot deny that science. But
back to my hero though. I guess. Vulture. Valen. Valen. How did you seem pretty touched by the decisions of the film? This Heroes Rising film.
Me or Valen?
Valen.
Valen's muted again. He's doing stuff.
All right.
I got a question after Valen. So.
All right. It's because it's exactly what you said, and it's none of it matters because it's not real in the sense of like canon or anything like that, and it's literally just something that exists to be pretty for your eyes to make you give them money.
Pretty much.
It doesn't have any depth. It doesn't have any character. It's the same way I feel about a lot of movies, but One Piece has found a way around that because the series is so long, they can turn entire fucking arcs into movies and still give you a sense of feeling with them. And it's pretty fucking dope. And I think more things should take that. Actually, Kimetsu no Yaiba is doing that with a whole arc, making it a movie instead of actually making it an arc. And I'm curious how that's going to feel because I think it's going to lack, like, the whole thing about the Kimetsu no Yaiba growth was not only the visuals. Okay, it was only the visuals.
No, I was somebody know. No, the film is not. What happened was Horikoshi helped write the screenplay and everything and the story, but Horikoshi said it's not like canon to the story. He just helped write it.
Yeah, of course. They're like, hey, what would you like to see happen? It's like, well, let's get crazy with it. You see this man? He doesn't half step. He showed up with a mask Bane wouldn't wear to an interview.
Towards the very end, like some of my everybody looked really strong though, but like it just the people.
I have a question about that though.
The people they were fighting were so. It literally took like 4 or 5 of the students per villain. That's how OP and what the villains were capable of. I was like, bro, how are these kids getting hit by this and living? Like, it was kind of ridiculous because as My Hero has shown. Typically, they get hit a couple of times, and they got broken bones and ribs and internal bleeding because they're people. I'm watching like Deku and Bakugo get smashed so hard. I'm just like, and they're living. Like,
pause.
What I'm saying is they're getting hit. They're getting hit with some crazy.
Yeah, we heard you. You're nasty.
No, what I'm saying, like,
I mean,
but like what I'm saying is like,
a person got island level attack, and I'm like, what?
See,
island level? No.
No. The dude, his power scaling was. I mean, I don't want to spoil the movie, but his power, it was through the roof. It's just the fact that like some of the things. I want to say everybody, because basically everybody kind of got their ass whooped, to be honest. But it's just like. Deku and Bakugo. I'm just like, some of the things after a while I was like, how are they alive? But it was kind of just bugging me. That's why I made a post saying at some point it kind of felt like fan fiction because look, you can't tell me these are 2 like 14-year-old kids anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and they're it's just I don't know.
Yeah. Enter response to Flow. Flow Todoroki did get his shine.
Everybody got shine. Everybody did. Literally everybody did.
The whole class did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're telling me is...
I'm not gonna lie. Everybody who's a fan of Ochoko, like, while she doesn't do like an amazing amount of stuff, you just get to everybody, everybody does something.
Like, she went in.
Let me guess. They did the stuff with Tokoyami where he can like fly and shit like that.
Yeah.
I fucking knew it.
That's kind of crazy. They already spoiled that.
You know what? Yeah.
Would the movie shine so
home? Fuck it. Just because most people aren't up to date is not his fault. You know what I mean? If we're gonna put out, let's say, I don't know, fucking Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, and it's gonna be canon. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to live in that same universe.
Yeah, exactly.
So
here's what I will say though. I will say where the movie shines is like there's one thing about it. It since like with the main villains, they're so OP and they're like outnumbered. Like I said, there's like 4 or 5 students against each villain, and it's just the combinations these kids come up with using their powers together. It's just like it's so cool. It's seeing the movie and don't just see it Class 1A like really put some work in. Like that's cool. You should see the movie for that.
I do want to see the combos. That's the whole thing. I want to watch the movie. I don't even care about the story. It doesn't matter. I want to see the shit they do. That's all it is. And I'm mad because I was searching through Twitter and I already had one of the endings spoiled for me. Like,
we're gonna move off of that. Damn, we've been on My Hero for a minute. Deontay Wilder. Deontay.
Okay, Dante Wilder.
So Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury had their fight last Saturday.
I think it was last Saturday.
It was 2 Saturdays ago.
So in his estimation, he claims that the reason why he didn't perform that well against Tyson Fury, because I watched the fight, like Vulture said, I had to see it for myself. I went back, looked at it. Oh my god,
yeah, man!
Like I just almost didn't believe it. Like, but he was saying Deontay Wilder claims that the big Dreadnought Demon King armor, whatever he had on,
Dreadnought.
Like, he said that weighed heavy. I think he said it was like 50 pounds total, or 50 pounds per piece.
He came out like Berserk, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he said it was like 50 pounds total, or like 50 pounds per piece, but it was something like that.
I heard 45 pounds to 50 pounds overall.
Dude, he pissed Dana White off with that shit. He's like, no, we're not fucking doing that shit. This is not what we do.
And then they do. And so he says he was wearing it for about because he had to wait for Tyson Fury's entrance, and then he had to do his. So altogether, he said he had it for like 20 to 25 minutes, 30 minutes before the fight, and it warmed down. So by the time the fight started, he just couldn't keep up.
No.
And that's what he
okay. So, like, this man is basically Adonis, just in a new body. There is no way this man hasn't ran up hills with weight jackets on, with weight vest on, backwards, probably sideways, on his fucking hands.
If somebody used to weight train with a 50-pound vest,
yeah, like
I can tell
out of
you,
here.
it is something that you actually get used to pretty fucking quick.
Yeah,
The human body is a
this man's
goddamn
sculpted.
machine, and I was never in this fucking goddamn chiseled piece of some bitch shape. I was never in that shape. You know what I mean? Like I always had soft edges for the lady.
And then even
You
like,
already know he's capping.
and then even if you want to say that, you
Raise
know,
your hand if you're married, bitch.
when you're like competing
No,
at
no,
that high
no.
level,
I was saying capping on his part.
Oh my
and,
God.
Yeah.
and even if you want to say that, okay, competing at a high level for a sustained amount of time against, you know, one of the world's best, or at least someone who's has the ability to go up against the world's best and fight for the title, that's a whole nother like type of exhaustion. You probably need every iota of strength you have. But you knowing that for years being a boxer, there was no reason you should put yourself
40
in
wins
that
in a row.
situation.
I mean, you got 40 something wins in a row. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you're correct to say you've been a boxer for years.
Yep, you should know what to do when not. You should come out like Mike Tyson with the chucks on and got them shorts and be chilling.
Mike Tyson came out with nothing, like just black shorts, like a towel on his neck.
That's literally. That's because that's all he needed. Like,
he didn't need a show.
You don't understand. He was trying to mentally fuck this dude. That's the only reason you come out in Berserk on him.
Yeah, it's like
you know
already showing that you a little
fuck the whole mind up. Like, oh my god, I've read this manga. I know what happens when I punch him. It's not gonna matter. He's wearing the armor. Like,
your whole plan is based off if he's a Berserk reader. Yes.
Meanwhile, this fucking giant doofy dude who doesn't even read books. It's just like
giant
doofy.
Not even books. Yeah.
I'm gonna punch him.
Read.
I'll punch him. I'll punch him again.
I'm gonna keep hitting him, boss.
Do you think it has something to do with the fact that, like, since he's never lost a fight before, it's some kind of inability to accept that you just got outboxed. You got beat up.
And the thing is, he's got people like Mayweather who are like and Mayweather's a giant voice in the community for how much of a piece of shit I know he is as a human being and a boxer. He's the world's greatest point boxer, but he's destroyed the concept of boxing for himself. I'm sorry. It's just how I feel. We can talk about that later if y'all want.
He ain't throwing hands, basically.
Oh, well, he said he offered to train him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
To beat Tyson Fury. I'm like, what?
People like that he doesn't need in his life. That's like Mike Tyson went so downhill, and you can disagree with this. He went downhill as a boxer as he got more involved with the echo chamber that was Friday Night Sissy. Oh, you know fuck with the head.
Don King.
Thank you.
Yeah, Don King.
And the Muslim Brotherhood and shit like that, where like they would just hype him up and get him into a crazed state because A, he's a very excitable person. He always has been. He talks about that. And B, they would they learned to focus that. They learned to channel that into a champion. Don't get me wrong, but his boxing skills were replaced by fervor and more of a fuel for violence rather than any amount of skill or desire to be a winner. Like the Mike Tyson that fucking Charlie Reynolds, I don't know, his original trainer, just some old like come on Mike kind of fucking dude who like started training him, and you can see him in the corner in the early videos where Mike's bopping around the ring, hitting like 15 jabs a goddamn second, like just moving, like sticking every position, like absolutely flawless speed, accuracy, power, like it's never been seen.
I heard about that hypnotized thing.
What?
Yeah, I heard about that hypnotized thing with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, wait, hypnotized thing.
Yeah.
Believe that?
Like, it's not that I don't believe it, but at the same time, I kind of do because it's Mike Tyson. That's the only. If it was anyone else, I would be like, nah. So apparently, in order to get him and keep him in that I'm gonna murder everything in front of me mind state, he was actually like regularly hypnotized and kind of like.
Dude, you don't like hypnotized isn't what we think it is.
That's interesting.
I was just thinking about this. That echo chamber, that hype, that's a hypnosis in itself.
Well, that's also hypnotism, but I'm talking about like he actually was like
that sound like you are going to murder them
with the watch and all that dumb shit. Like I'm pretty sure they used
the
something.
whole shebang.
I'm pretty sure they used something else.
Like how else are you gonna scream in front of like literally 100 people with cameras? I'm gonna fuck you till you love me, faggot. Like,
and I'm gonna eat your kids.
I'm gonna eat your kids. Like, I'm gonna
If you
rape,
say
like,
the magic word, I would destroy you.
like
It's crazy.
he was in an entirely altered state of like human being, and I fully I would believe he was hypnotized. That's not even a hard thing to convince me of. Like he was like, and this isn't anything like to talk about Muslims. It's just once he got involved with Don King and the Muslim Brotherhood and shit, it became an echo chamber that enforced his worst qualities. It really did. Like his drive to be champion was second to his drive to hurt people. And it just so happened his ability to hurt people put him into the champion spot. You know what I mean?
Echo chambers are definitely a terrible place to be in any field. You know what I'm saying? People telling you yes all the time and kind of just reinforcing what you probably should be working on now that you're actually at the level to work on it. Instead is, like you said, being reinforced because they believe it's one and the same. Like you can't have a champion without him wanting to kill puppies in his sleep. It's just like separate the two.
But, and there's a reason now. You saw the interview with Leonard. Fucking Ray Lewis.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see the interview. What is it?
Well, I saw a snippet of it. I didn't see the whole thing. Don't get me wrong. But like Mike Tyson, Iron Goddamn Mike, is sitting there bawling his eyes out in front of two men, talking about I hate the person I was. I'm so fucking terrified of him.
Well, he said it himself that like that shit wasn't. After a while, he looked back like that shit kind of wasn't cool.
Like I love the person Mike Tyson has become, and people want him to be the Iron Mike of old, but he's so introspective, and he comes from like a real OG ass place. And I actually tweeted this out. I retweeted the shit that I saw because I was like, listen, if you're not afraid of the person you used to be, then you probably wasn't shit. And I was in my feelings watching that, so I probably could have worded it better.
Just a little bit, but sometimes you gotta give it to him raw.
Like that's
fucking Mike said he doesn't even work out anymore. He doesn't run, he doesn't jog because it'll get him back in that mind state.
Dude, there is a real truth to that. Like I watch some shit like 300 was a good example. Mm-hmm. I had stopped like regularly working out after a bit when that movie came out, but I saw that shit and like I went home and I ran like 4 miles until I fucking threw up. Like there's a part of anybody who just has that in them that once it's like awakened and stirred up, it like brings out a part of that person they don't like. And everybody has like a piece of that. And I'm, you know what I mean? But Mike Tyson got the whole fucking pie. You know what I mean? At the very least.
I think from here we should. That was interesting. That was a nice little segment though. Like we should clip these. But going on from there, Valen, something happened with somebody's kid. You said.
Yep, somebody beat their baby.
Can you screenshot?
I'm going there, baby. I'm going. I'm getting it. Let me link it up here.
While he's doing that, what's your take on child rearing? So,
child what?
Rearing?
Are you backhanding kids, or are you trying to put them in timeout? What's going on in the streets?
What's going on in the streets?
I feel like the line. I mean, I got the whole.
So he picked a ladder. Huh?
In a sense where I don't see the point in like stepping on a kid's head and whipping them with an extension cord for 3 minutes. You'll accomplish nothing. The only that child would do is grow up to hate and resent you. But at the same time, the kid's been a little asshole, and you like take your hand and smack him on the butt one time and say, "Sit down." That's being reasonable. You know what I mean?
So aside from murder, there's nothing.
There's
nothing your kid can really do to make it so you should lock them in like a closet or something for hours, or like hit them with a fucking broom.
I mean, like as someone who's like been
where's the line for you?
Well, as somebody who's had trophies thrown at them and hit with essentially and being sat up.
That's level 2.
Y'all want to talk about levels? I can show y'all. I can tell y'all some levels.
Man, we don't want to hear levels from.
I feel like
we don't want to hear about orphan levels.
Refuse.
Right? I had everything,
I saw it like right here. It was like
here's the ultimate truth. I feel like your child is a lot smarter than you think they are. At least not maybe not to you guys. I think you guys understand it, but some people really don't, and they think they have to like beat a lesson into a child. But I think if you I feel like if you really can take the time to just sit there and explain to that child why what they did is wrong, you probably don't have to put. Like I said, you got to give them one little spanking or something. That's reasonable to a certain extent. But like, you shouldn't be out to beat, and hurt your children. They shouldn't be in pain.
Right.
They shouldn't be screaming, "Please stop!"
Yeah,
Like you're crossing the line.
You're not a fan. You're not a fan.
Time
Okay.
and patience is a virtue.
You of course is not a fan of over the top down south violence. I understand that. But all right, how about belt? 4 or 5 times with the belt. That's still
I'll never put that on my kid.
See,
okay. Like hitting all together. For you.
I got my wife behind me. Just go. Nope. Nope.
Nope about the hitting, or nope about the constructive parenting or whatever.
The belt.
Oh, okay. I'm actually surprised.
I wouldn't use a belt on. I feel like if I was gonna hit my kid, it'll be once.
Right.
And I'll just hit him one time. If I was
Just
like,
with the hand though. No instruments.
with my hand.
All
Even
right.
if I just give him one quick little like, nigga, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's
You
being
know?
real. Because some
Like,
people
it's
can't even
not
admit to that. Like,
You know, just like, but yeah, I like if you're gonna tell me it's not inhumane to like slap a child, but it is to straight beat them with utensils and objects.
Beth
Yeah.
also disagrees with like the pop on the back of the head.
Something like
Back
that.
of
Like
okay.
you pop them on the back of the head, pop them on the butt, spank
I
them
mean,
on
I
the.
can understand
I
the
believe
head
on the butt.
from like a
I think
medical standpoint.
specifically it's because the back of the head, there's so much brain there.
Yeah, I was about to say
It
for
really
medical
just
reasons.
right,
I
isn't
right.
understand
a good place to hit somebody. It's
Yeah,
like literally
the kid's
illegal.
being
in sport.
smart. It's okay to pop a kid if they're being like a little, because the child will show the person who takes care of them respect. I do feel that, you will show the person who feeds you
Well,
respect.
see, here's
So it's
the
okay.
thing: you have to make sure it's respect and not fear as a parent. Like,
Well, yeah.
that is a fine fucking line because
No,
like-
listen, I'm on your side. Like I said, I think there's no reason to beat a child in any circumstances.
no.
I would never put the blood on a child. But like popping them in the mouth one quick for getting smart, like come on, like.
Okay, question, Valent, on what you just said. That was actually interesting. You said they have to fear, not respect. But fear sometimes comes from just the actual fear of repercussion under any, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like there's the violence fear, and then there's you're going to take them away fear, or you're just going to inconvenience me fear. So it's like you think the fear of them being inconvenienced by timeouts, by some kind of creative punishment is different from violence fear?
This is where respect and fear gets inky because they need to respect the fact that their actions have consequences and not necessarily fear that I'm going to be the one doling out the consequences.
Right.
It has to be independent of me as the parent this feeling comes from. So if I'm the one hitting them, the fear of the consequence is going to be reliant on me. And they may
direct
respect
to
me,
you. Okay.
but they'll never respect the idea of what they're doing being bad.
Because they're not being told what they're doing and explained.
They're not being taught. Yeah,
Right.
They're not being
Yeah, and it's about.
Here's the
And
thing.
I want to say something
would
super
say that-
controversial before this person starts, real quick. And if
About
Well,
communication.
I would just say just to that, like if you're gonna hit your child but not explain to them what they did wrong, you're not doing anything.
yeah, facts,
Facts.
super facts.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just more like psychological about it. And me and my wife have agreed, like as parents, we've agreed on our style of parenting. We're not going to hit our kids. You know what I mean? A spank on the butt is different than. And she, like I said, she's like nope to the back of the head stuff, and I'm actually okay with that because, like I said, that's where the brain lives.
Also,
But,
you just
here's
take away the toys and stuff
Well,
like that. You know?
well, Val, like I
Right.
said,
I wanna say this real quick.
I wholly reserve, like I said, Val, and just like there's nothing. If a kid's being a little smarter, there's nothing wrong with popping them one time.
Do you think
That's where you're at. I disagree. I believe there's a way to do it, and it's not popular. You can just yoke them up. I believe in some yokage. Don't get me wrong. Just
I don't shake babies, Val. I don't.
do you believe that do you believe
shake
that
babies. Yeah, I
you
don't
believe
think
like
I'm not
divergent
not babies. All right, babies are out of this whole equation.
they have some meat on them first?
4 and up. They have to have an
I
understanding.
feel like when you start using objects, belts, cords, twigs, whatever.
At that point it's like about you. Like there's something
You're
going
crossing
on
the
with you
line. Yeah.
and you're
But
trying to like get that out.
You're
That's all.
crossing the the second
real
you
quick,
attack a child with an object.
Before I start this video.
Oh yeah, but pull it up so you can start the video.
I got one on the tangent. I forgot.
All right. I'm a parent. I have a 2-year-old that's on the spectrum. All right. So I know it's a very difficult thing. I do.
Right.
But I want to, and like you try to like tell them, you grab them, like he was reaching for the stove, you give him a slap on the hand, like, no, that's dangerous. You don't do that. No, you know what I mean? That's hot, blah, 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 blah.
Hey, Valen, real quick.
Valen, and
real
he
quick.
laughed at you.
Real quick, Valen. And will you ever let him go ahead with it just to let him know what's going on in the streets?
No,
not just the finger.
He did it. No, he touched her hot iron once. And no, I'm sorry, it's not a hot. What is it?
Curling iron.
It's a straight up.
Curler.
No, a hot iron is a whole different thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's hot.
Yeah, so you got that's
hot.
Yeah. Anyway,
did he touch it again after that? He touched it. He was like, "No, I ain't free, right?"
No, he's still
what's going on in the streets. Let him touch it.
They're kids. Here's the thing. Let me continue.
Right.
When you're trying to get a point across, and you're like trying to be compassionate and do the right thing, which is speak to them, explain, communicate, and they sit there and laugh because it's just a game. They have no comprehension. You, as a completely human thinking adult, get like broken a little bit after a prolonged exposure to this, because you're like, this motherfucker's laughing at me. He's not. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this little motherfucker is doing this shit on purpose.
Got to be.
Start to get mad. And I had this thought, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It's the worst thing I think I've ever said. Is I'll never do it, but I can understand why my mom put cigarettes out on me. Like,
right.
I understand being pushed to a point where you're like not a rational person. But me being a sane person and not a drugged out crack hoe, I'm not gonna do some fucked up ass shit.
You understand the primal urge?
Yeah, I understand.
Like, bro, this is ridiculous.
Like she didn't have the faculties in her as a person to be like, I need to go over here for just a second.
Yeah, it's just like for her, it was that extreme measure. For regular people, it's something else.
I understand it. I don't condone it.
Oh, well, I grew up on like switches and cords and extension cords and ironing boards and all the other type of boards.
Things I got was, the thing for the lights, the little beaded things.
Those things are terrible.
Yeah, one of my foster parents was just beating the shit out of me, and I was kind of like this, and my hand went back, hit the light cord, and I swear to God, it looked like the bitch got an idea. Because the light turned on, she pulled it out, and started going to town on my. It whistled.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah,
that's no good.
Give me watch this video.
Your samurai shit and caught it with both hands.
All right, watch this fucking fuckery.
All right.
Fast forward through the filler.
This is quiet.
Yeah, I think you need to turn it up a little bit.
That's the max I got. I have it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see.
What is she mad about?
All right, it's because it's a recording of a recording also. All right. Essentially, her 2-year-old got into her makeup, and she beat her ass for it. And later in the video, she comes in, she's like, my hand hurts from beating this little 2-year-old, y'all.
Terrible.
And then she's like, and they don't even make these anymore. Like, what, bitch?
Wow.
Just taking it all out on the kid, man.
All right.
What?
Like, apparently you ain't a parent. Eminem said that shit best. That's one of the best lines he'll ever fucking write. I don't give a fuck. I use it.
Oh, fucking Eminem.
All the damn time.
Apparently, you're not a parent.
So it's not the child. It's actually something else that she's angry about. So
she let little kids.
That's what I believe.
To post that with the confidence that people will rally behind you.
The caucasity. She thought that people would support her and give her more fucking makeup or some shit. Like, this is the definition of caucasity.
At the same time, it's almost like what you said. You was like, you can only know what a parent feels like once you have a kid, and then it's like that anger of trying to be like, yo, stop throwing the Apple Jacks on the floor. and you just want to roundhouse them. And she thought she was playing off that, like, okay, everybody know what happens when the kids spill your stuff, and you beat the ever-loving shit out of them until they can't breathe, right? Like, no, that's not what happens. And she was trying to feed off that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I say to that? And this is my ignorant perspective because I don't know because I don't have children. But I feel like, you know, whenever I hear about the whole tired parent, sleepy parent thing, I was like, well, I mean, like, that's your problem, man. You got to figure that out because you made the kid.
Well, here's the thing, though, and
that doesn't mean they can't complain.
As the tired parent, you are absolutely 100% correct. It is on us to do that, but the truth is, it doesn't mean we can't be like, fuck, we're tired.
Yeah, you can complain.
You know what I mean?
Stop you from complaining.
Exactly. It's not like, imagine if black people didn't talk about how hard it was being black, and they were just like, "Man, I'm black."
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm just black out here.
Blacking it up because parents are talking about it.
Everybody just shut the fuck up about it.
No, I kind of get that. Okay, you know what? No. We're live. I'm not gonna get myself on that.
Lie.
Yeah, I was like, I did what you did with the orphan shit. I was like,
Yep. He's gonna get in his bag now. He's gonna get in his bag.
You know what? We'll keep it PG for like the first 5 episodes. We'll get in our bags around like episode 10.
People need to get loosened up before we go. And you know what? I'm not going to finish that. That's just
we just be in our bag too much. We don't know how to stay out of it.
But that I'm saying is you got to get lubed up. But
my,
be ready.
Oh,
that's funny. It be like that sometimes. That noise. I'm weak. They better than that. Whoever doing my prostate exam better not be playing around like that.
Dude, I had a colonoscopy because I was having real issues and shit. And if before I would do countdown to from 100, 99, 98, boom, I'd have never went to sleep. I was like, no.
Not me, fam. That's wild. Wants no part of growing up. So much to look forward to getting older. Yeah,
man, so here's another thing. This might really only apply to me, but if anybody else is interested in some little interesting tidbit, I was just looking at it, and apparently fucking AEW Dynamite, which is a new major wrestling promotion, has been consistently defeating WWE's NXT on Wednesdays in ratings by a couple of 100,000 viewers. And both of those wrestling programs, because for those who don't know, WWE, SmackDown, and Raw are kind of like aimed toward that. They're more shows than there are wrestling shows. WWE has another program.
I call them as the Pokemon Red and Blue of wrestling.
Right. What I mean is like it's the storyline. It's the storylines. It's the drama. It's the Austin driving trucks into the arena and stuff. But did they have the WWE's program NXT is typically aimed towards like the younger 18 to 26 demographic who just want to watch dope wrestling matches. But that's WWE's counterproduct, I guess you would say, to AEW. But it's beating it. So it's just this interesting thing where, like, for the first time in a long time, there's been other promotions like, you know, Ring of Honor, New Japan,
TNA, and all of that
stuff, but there's nothing that's been like on a national travel across the whole country backed by a billionaire. There's never been a wrestling business since like 2001 when WCW died that can actually compete in terms of scope of the WWE. And it seems like with AEW getting this 3-year deal on TNT, that there's probably gonna be another major wrestling production, which is kind of crazy. Like there hasn't been 2 major wrestling productions in like 20 years. So
I'm actually pretty excited for it because I don't know how everybody feels, but I'm old school wrestling, which means I remember the absolute worst these motherfuckers have done to these wrestlers with zero conscience, zero give a fuck.
Yeah,
and I think it's time for
Bruno Sammartino and all that.
Right by their companies. Fuck Sammartino, like fucking Owen Hart's death, like the way they.
Oh yeah, right. And China's.
China, like they had real opportunity to help the people that help put their fucking things on the map, and they chose instead to distance themselves in some fucking faulty sense of shareholder loyalty, and it's bullshit. Because
I
these people,
do feel that
And they also helped Jimmy Snuka to get away with murder.
I
facts.
do feel that ever since WWE became a public company, it's just like, well, like I said, like okay, like so Raw is on tonight. I haven't watched it. I'm gonna watch it after this is over. But it just the older I get, I feel like this is like the show will start and then somebody's cutting like
It's a soap opera.
30-minute promo. And I'm like, it's cool. Promos are cool, but what's with this 20-minute promo at the start? Can we get to the wrestling?
Yeah.
So with AEW on Wednesdays, I watch it. The show starts, bam. There's a match, and it's constant wrestling. I was like, this is like, it's I don't know. It's weird. I get what WWE does because they're not just trying to get teenagers to watch people wrestle. They want to they want to bring their grandma, so they need the comedy act, and they want to get children there, so they need I mean, I get it. I understand, but it's just good to see that there's another production that people can go to. This is ultimately good for wrestlers in general because now it's not like.
Here's how I say it: WWE
And to build
has
on
become a telenovela where instead of slaps and whines, it's body slams and clotheslines. Like, like that's what it is. Instead of how did I get on my deal? Like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like slapping bitches and whatever. It's just
yeah. And to build on that, see, the problem is WWE's creative team is so like stale and yeah, and yeah, and so like
he said stale. He knew what it was.
And so stupid. Cody was Cody was
bury WWE here. Let's not bury WWE. Edge just came back. Let's not bury
And
Yeah,
apparently
at the
Randy
same
Orton's
time,
trending
but-
right now.
Look, they're gonna destroy him just like they did the Undertaker.
But to capitalize on that, you bring Edge back, but at the same time, you bring back Goldberg to take down the Fiend and destroy the Fiend's momentum, which is stupid. See, AEW dropped the title to John Moxley, in which
because Moxley had
it
hype.
is smart because AEW's creative team is
also
smart.
because you can't bury Jericho. Like Jericho's like their marquee name. He doesn't need the title to be popular. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. That's interesting. I would love to talk some wrestling.
It's the creative team. It's the creative team, man.
Since I don't have anything really to say about wrestling, I'm just gonna throw this out there. That boy Randy Orton is trending on Twitter right now. Throw that out there.
Randy Orton truly exceeds wrestling. Like he's such an icon on the internet just for the memes alone. Like he just like
he's cemented place.
He marketed himself. So like Randy does not need. I heard he signed like another 3 or 4 years of WWE. He really does not need to work there anymore. Like the way he markets himself, he could do whatever the hell he wanted to. He could
just like John Cena.
He could relax. He could start a podcast. He could do movies. He can do whatever. He could,
and his name is John Cena.
He can hire people to write books for him. But I don't know. I guess he likes to RKO people.
I think he wants to be a movie star, but he can't act worth a dick and isn't big enough like Batista. And there's too many people in his kind of shape.
Hold on, now they both was an evolution together, Val.
What?
Well, I wouldn't say Batista is the
best. When you say big, do you mean in muscle size or?
Yeah. I just mean stature-wise. Like,
yeah.
I don't mean big as in like a name because he's way bigger than Batista ever was in that sense. Like Randy Orton, like you said, he's a fucking icon. And Batista was a sideman at best until he became fucking what's his nuts in the Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong.
But that's the same as Roman Reigns though, because he was in like Fast and the Furious, and so he didn't even have lines.
Wait a minute, guys. There was because we're gonna go for about 10 more minutes. There's one more topic that we wanted to go over. I had the list. I forgot it. Was it something
pretty short?
I think that it was the Mike Tyson thing.
Oh yeah, we talked about the Mike Tyson thing.
Mike Tyson thing, and Bounce talked about the kid.
Yep.
We talked about Deontay Wilder. Talk about my hero. There was one more thing.
We were talking about the coronavirus and Oda possibly
being sick.
Yeah.
Oh,
man,
he was sick. He's healthy now. Stop the.
Just in general, like I was thinking about that the other day, and it's just like
What if he had
I feel
died?
like
His
if I
wife
could,
would tell us.
I feel like I guess if I can pay some type of respect or tribute to Oda. It's like I was thinking about this other day, and with me losing my dad, I really, sickness and health is kind of like on my mind and stuff. And
Yeah.
my dad was the type of dude who, like, to his final days, he was doing a lot more than he needed to do for a lot of people in his family that he loved and cared about. And I was thinking about Oda in the same sense, because it's not the first time we've heard of Oda had to take a break because he was getting sick or something. And it was like, dude, this dude is busting his ass writing this killer story every week.
People are going to turn him into Togashi. Watch.
He's like everybody's dad.
And it's just like,
y'all weren't. I don't mean this derogatorily, but I don't think any of y'all were really reading week to week when Yu Hakusho came out. Like that was when I first got into manga, like way back.
Right.
And
Oh man.
not only was there like a visible decline in his artwork because he was being pushed so hard, like shit just really suffered. Like there are whole panels where it's just a squiggly line for a dude's face because like later on, it's bad. It's bad, and people demanded he keep going because I mean,
hey Valen, I'll take you all the way back to the days of reboot days.
I remember reboot. Fucking heck, dude. I used to want to get with Hexadecimal. She could be bad all she wants. Let's change that face up, baby.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like we as fans, like, I don't know, we feel so much ownership over stuff. And I'm not saying it's unwarranted or unjustified because, without our support, it wouldn't be a thing. But it's just like, of course, I want to see how One Piece ends. Like, of course, I hate
it's
when
been
the
20 years, man.
But it's like, of course, you just, like, man, the chapters are late. Of course, you're upset. And of course,
it's your childhood, man.
Of course, you want to see the fights and the war and stuff. But, like, what you really don't, at least I'm thinking, is like, man, like, I feel like the dude's gonna keep getting sick, like twice a year, 3 times a year, or whatever. Like maybe he should slow down and make One Piece like bi-weekly or something like that. I don't know. That would drive everybody off the walls, though.
I feel,
the roof.
I feel like he should do what like almost any business do. Like you get someone, you teach them the basics, and you have them. Yeah, as far as like drawing, because Oda has to draw and write and do the ideas. He can definitely get in a supervisory position and train some amazing artists to just draw the actual stuff for him. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like I understand wanting to get every detail of your manga right. You're a mangaka, there's pride, all this, that, and the third. But then it's like, just like everything else in life, you have to put pride on the back seat. You have to put some things on the back seat when you physically aren't able to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like people who lost their legs in a war, which is the bad example, but at the same time, it's like they either if they afford it, they get a replacement. If they could, they put their situation, look at it for what it is. Like, all right, this is the steps I need to do in order to continue living my life. You know what I'm saying? Keep my responsibilities, in line, and all that. Because if you have to have a 6-month hiatus, the 6 months that you were active, you weren't preparing for the whatever sickness you obviously had at the time, because it just didn't come out of nowhere in regards to like Togashi or something like that. Like,
yeah,
I'm saying, like if you had all these years knowing that you were slowly declining, breaking down, your friends and family telling you, you know what I'm saying, you about to die in these streets. People, because I think it's like a thing in Japan where people literally fall asleep on the street because they work so hard and stuff like that. And it's like,
man.
Yeah, it's tradition, but if you see people around you doing that, and that's hard to break out of when you grow up in that, and it's kind of like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is my path in life.
If you break from
other
that,
people
you're
before
lazy
you
now.
You're
the problem. You're everything your parents rallied against. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's such a ingrained cultural thing to literally work until you die for your country, for yourself, for your own pride. That like.
You gotta understand that you're talking about a different country entirely, man. You're talking about a country where like children go to school like 6 days a week, 300 days out of the year, and they have to be accepted into high school.
Yeah, and just like
the system I fully back, by the way.
Hey, man.
They got them kids cleaning the school. Hell yes.
All right, I'm with it.
Goddamn respect.
I mean, but it's a whole different reality because the students over there, you have to be in a club. You have to participate in stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like,
right. But personal responsibility and personal health and like keeping up with yourself will always take precedent. It should take precedent over the society, and that's hard to put in a person that grew up in a society where the society comes first. And just like we had rules, regulations back in the day, some of those things had to be taken down. Like we couldn't keep, you know what I'm saying, sleeping with our cousins. There was a point where we said enough, and I think we all agree with that.
Enough is enough. Huh?
We never look back, and I think it's for the better.
It's not in these streets, huh?
It's not in these streets. So it's like there were some traditions that people keep up that you're like, it's good. It's some things you got to throw away. Working to
no matter
die.
how many times we write on a sheet of paper that we can't do something anymore, there's always going to be people doing the stuff that we all agree that we can't do anymore. So I think what we're all agreeing as for is like, you can do it, but just don't let nobody know you're doing it. You know?
Those were outliners. Like there will always be outliners, like people who literally like contrarians, like people who argue with you on Twitter for the simple fact that it's an argument.
Oh man.
Just for the simple fact that, hey, you have a point. Let me see how I can, poke holes in that point. Do you get anything by doing that? No. Well, why are you doing it?
That sounds like me.
Yeah. Like every now and then, people like to dip their toes in that
sometimes, just to see if I can offer up a retort, just to see if I can,
Exactly, and I'm not saying that you should.
People being like, I didn't ask you, bitch. You put it on Twitter. You asked everybody.
I'm not saying y'all should be dragged and beaten in the streets, but I'm just saying it's not a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then, people, do some stuff that's like outside of what they would, I guess, normally do.
Well, here's my contrarian retort to that.
Oh, Jesus.
You got two people, right? Full adults, I guess, not mentally incompetent, and they're like, "Hey, we like second cousins, but we really like shagging, and we feel like that shouldn't be illegal." You gonna tell them not to?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Am I operating from a position of power when I'm telling them this, or is this I'm giving them my opinion? At this point?
You have the power to make them not do it.
And okay, you said second cousins and the nasty dance,
they're being contraceptive because I guess they're aware of that they have no intentions of like producing. They just solely want to shag because they're into each other.
Okay, I was about to ask. That was my next question. Like, what's that population looking like? We talking?
Yo, I was watching an episode of TV about this concept. It was a brother and a sister. I was not behind it.
So there you go.
Behind it now.
Yeah, man.
They didn't know they were brother and sister. They were like the same
brother and sister.
Different parents.
Well, brother and sister is closer. He said second cousins.
So they were like a brother and a sister. So hold on, balance. So let's just say in the extremities, there's like a brother and a sister. They're both adults. The brother got a vasectomy. The sister got the tubes tied. And they use condoms. They literally just want a bone because that's the way they love each other. You wouldn't let them.
How would I stop them? Would I chop off their hoo-hoo delis and sew up the cha-chas?
No, this is your government. This is your new world order. Everybody does what balance says.
Laws right now.
Everybody does what balance.
In my world, I'm not going to kill somebody because they mad.
Well, no. Okay, like a $500 fine every time we can prove that y'all did it and y'all related in any way. You got a fine.
So even if the dude got a vasectomy, the chick got a tubes tied.
Val's not worrying about them producing offspring that are retarded. He's thinking about freaking like the morality of it and setting precedents for like the society.
Actually, for me, it is a social issue because if more people are like, "Oh shit, maybe my cousin's kind of hot," you know what I mean? In turn, somebody's gonna end up having a baby that slips through, and maybe that baby has 2 babies, and maybe them babies, and eventually a population of your population is fucking stupid.
You know what? I feel like if in my new world,
my world, all right, they can live out in fucking yonder country, all right. That's what I'll call it.
Yonderer simulator.
Here's what I would say. In my new world order, I probably have the mindset of You can do it, but I have to take away any possibility of you reproducing. At that point, if you just want to be freaks, go be freaks. You have that freedom, you know. It's like, because I care more about you producing retarded children than anything. Like if you two
like it's a population thing. It's more like I genuinely don't get too fucked.
If I completely remove both of their abilities to reproduce, and they just freaks, and it's like, well, this is just the way we love. Fine, go do it. I don't give a fuck. You're not hurt. You know, like you're freaks. Like go do it. Do what you. I would give you that freedom, you know, but I won't give you the freedom to, you know, produce inbred children.
Can I slide through with some contrarianism real quick?
Get contrary with it.
So how? That's this fucking question. How?
What? When? Where? Why? How?
Yes, all the above. How has that not been happening already? Like there was an alpha source, and then it was spread out between that, and then we had to reproduce with somebody, and those people were related.
Yeah,
where we going from here? Has it already been happening and kind of proven that every time it happens that a retarded person doesn't come out? Because we're here. I'm going back.
Don't go back in there.
I'm gonna wake up a doctor. All right, to actually answer the question.
Oh, thanks. See, all I want is answers.
Hey, baby, I'm sorry. We got a question. You're a doctor. You're brilliant with your brain. I'm gonna give you 14 seconds to wake up.
He said 14 seconds.
14.
Right.
14. Right. Only 14.
That's great.
All right. The idea is, the question posited is, we all used to be from one set of people, so we had to fucking be related, and those are two things. So we're related and fucking. All right. So we're all related. We're all cousins by at least 255th. That is a fact. That is an absolute dynamic fact of the world.
So what happened?
Everybody is related by at least 2.
Because everybody is a person who came from two people.
Yep.
Depending on your belief.
So wait, what was your question?
Okay, basically,
is everybody
y'all was making rules, basically saying that people, if y'all was like cousins, second cousins, y'all can't, you know, do that thing because of the possibility of less than stellar children. It was a population thing and setting precedents and people doing it on the reg because one person let it go. Now everyone's doing it. But I was saying that, is it proven that every single time that happens, there's a less than stellar child produced because we're all related in some kind of way, about 255ths apparently, or some shit like that?
Well, I think the only distinction between
there's a lot of evidence, even anecdotal and scientific, through inbreeding of like British lines and royalty from every fucking continent. That inbreeding's bad, like real bad, like Elephant Man bad.
Elephant, I'm thinking about it.
Well, I think what it comes down to is like wherever the heck, because like everybody's a person that came from two people, so like it does follow the whole tree spreading its roots kind of theory of thinking. So I get what you were saying, but I think what happened is it'll be like that tree's branches have spread so far and so wide, and and grown and has so many different sprouts grow up. By the time two branches connect, they're basically on two different trees. Because what I mean.
There's this one tree, I forgot where it was, but instead of it's like a forest, but it's one tree, like it's one.
It's Aspen Pines.
There we go.
I know what you're talking about. It's the single largest living organism.
Hell yeah,
on the entire planet, and it's a fucking forest, and it's all one tree.
Yeah, it's just
like
dope.
mangroves.
Like that. So it's
it's different than mangroves. It's like it's literally
it's all connected by a big root system, but it takes up as much space as a forest. But it's really one tree. It's kind of fire.
What was it called?
Say it again, Valen.
I want to say it's the Aspen Pines. Like there's something like that where it's like the single largest living organism is a forest.
And then it's like there's like an alpha tree or like the main tree, but like no one can find it or some shit like that.
It's hidden.
Like it's hard to find.
They know where it is, but to save like basically like loggers going to go get it to tear it down and whatever. Because
people wouldn't tear it down. I get like a sample. Like what is this nigga on?
Or whatever. But science
it's the eat tree.
To eat the
tree. Take it down. We've all seen science movies. They don't give a shit.
Oh yeah, facts.
It's the Eden tree.
Yo, speaking of trees, I had this random thing when I was younger. Like I would want to be like buried like in a tree, like you hollow it out and get like some amber and you just be in that thing and you just get preserved for no reason.
For no reason.
That's pretty dope. I thought
Hey,
you were going
that's
someplace in the like about just being like a tree, and then you went someplace very different because now you're a mosquito.
right.
Well, yeah, man, I can bring the humans back with some doctor put me on the cane. I'm about that.
I can't find the tree thing. That make me sad. We've been going for an hour and 7 minutes. You guys want to wrap up? Unless there's anything else you guys want to go over.
This man's soul ain't got no stamina. What's going on in the streets?
No,
Yeah,
no, what he wants to do. He got it for it's like a fucking television program. People don't want to always sit through 16 hours of BDA. All right,
I'm just partial to like long ass ridiculous streams. That's just me. But
Or Valen's 24-hour Pokemon stream.
We can still.
You son of a bitch, I did that shit, right?
I know. I was
forgot.
there for
Through.
like
No,
8 hours.
You're one of the real ones for showing up for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot.
Well, my thing with at least with the SOULcast is one of those things where it's just something for somebody just to listen to. You know what I mean? You don't want to make it too long. You kind of just want to get some.
Yeah.
You can split it up. You pause it, come back.
Here and keep the shit forever. That's besides the point. But as far as
Right.
it's like a weekly news thing. Who wants to watch a 3-hour weekly news show? You know.
Right. He raises it.
It depends on what it is. Like,
Yo, man. Yeah, because I be at work, I be having my earphone on, so I'm just like listening and shit, and it's like niggas just talking. I'm cool with that, but it's like I know people got like stuff to do, so it's like if you got shit to do, you got to go. I'm definitely not against that. It's just like I thought you was trying to keep it short, which you could be doing just cause it's your shit. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I am trying to keep it relatively short. I feel like if we're gonna do long format things, we can still do that. But for this, I don't want to keep them too long. Yeah. Because there's gonna be multiple of them.
We actually got away.
Yeah.
We actually got away from the topic.
Would encourage people to go back and look at them to a certain extent. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're at a certain length. But anything else? Any guys?
I feel like did we hop off the Oda thing too quick? Because I feel like we touched on it and then we went to like another rabbit hole.
I feel like we were. I'm not sure.
Say about it.
I thought we were gonna go down the angle of like if Oda really got sick and then he like got to the point where he's like Togashi and then he eventually like died or something.
Or whatever they're called, and his wife would take over and everybody would wear dresses and Sanji would be the only one comfortable.
Wow.
I'm not even gonna respond. You said the one Oda's wife does JoJo?
Dude, she's Sailor Moon, bro. Wait,
that's Togashi. Yeah, you said JoJo. I'm like, I thought Togashi had the power couple thing. I know Oda had that on tuck. That would have been crazy.
No, but I think his wife is a mangaka too.
That'd be, hey man, shit, might as well be. Like you can learn from the best.
But at the very least, she knows, because she's not gonna sit there and wait. Like she's gonna start the dick and find out what A, the D means, B, the void century. Like she's gonna find the shit out.
Do you think Oda has all of that, like, kind of already written up somewhere? Like he has the rest of
the he got the bullet points already.
Because somebody did the bullet points. Oda goes from this to this. That's why he's the greatest. And it's just a blurry outline of things, and then it turned out to be he's got the shit.
I heard he goes for moments instead of like a complete written out like story. It's like I have a moment. I want to get to that moment.
But I imagine it that way too, because I'm not claiming to be no Oda, but when I was, even to this day, when I daydream stories in my head, I kind of do it that way too. It's like this will happen, and then that will happen. How do I get there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's how we get there. Cool, and that'd be my whole day at work figuring out how you get.
Right.
If that's like the formula for most stories and shit, should it be, I guess, harped upon? Because it's like not our whole job, because we don't necessarily talk about manga all the time, but it's like part of our jobs as YouTubers is kind of to what I'm saying, pick apart the in-between when the in-between was literally the last thing thought of, and it was like the moments that was the forethought, and how they get there is the in the back of the mind. The back of the mind is where all the power scaling and all that dumb shit comes from. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying, because I guess it depends, because it depends on as if you might be the type of author who the most important thing is you want to make sure your action choreography is tight and you're always thinking about what the abilities and powers of your villains and antagonists would be. So before you think of an arc, you think of who your main character will defeat, and you build everything around that. Or you might be the exact opposite. You might, well, I want to get to this point in the story, and I need the character to progress in this way. Who's going to push them to do that? So you might build the villain based off how you want to. It depends. You see what I'm saying? I guess when it comes down to the author is like what do they put at the forefront, and what do they put in the background? So I feel like you should do your most heavy criticism on what they are clearly trying to display as their peak talent. Would it be storytelling, action choreography, design, and artwork? Because I see some artists who don't really like Bleach ain't the best story, but I be looking at some of them panels. I'm like, man, that ink though.
Oh, did you hear Burn the Witch is getting an OVA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At a manga? What's that?
Burn the Witch is Tite's. I don't know. It's the second thing he did. It's like Soul Society West or whatever it is, or in London, and they're witches.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Like a Bleach
He
spin-off?
didn't read that shit. He did a one shot like a year ago.
Hold on. I get that, but wait, hold on. Wait.
Nigga who did Bleach?
It's getting an OVA.
So you're trying to tell me that Aizen did all that, and all he did was try to usurp the Japanese Soul Reapers?
Oh, there's branches in this book? It was a Soul King. Whatever happened to the Soul King? I didn't catch with Bleach.
The Japanese Soul King?
That's wild. Well, there's more than one Soul King?
I don't know.
Like,
was there more than one king?
Because I'm trying to understand. I know Ichigo's a Jap. This is what I'm saying. So, because you're saying there's like London Soul Reapers, so they have like. All right.
Well, you said it was a witch, so maybe it's different.
It is slightly different, but it is generally the same concept. Where but like they have hollows and stuff, but they don't just like kill them; they'll rehabilitate them and work side by side.
So they're like a different sect of how to deal with hollows.
Yep.
So it takes place in the Bleach world.
Yep.
It's a spinoff of Bleach.
I just looked it up.
So Aizen's whole plan. So the Soul Reapers weren't the end all be all of the afterlife. It was just for Japanese people.
Something like that.
Also, there's like a King Yama like stamping off shit. Like, you going to Japan Society? You going to London?
This has been the Soul.
You're asking a lot of questions that there aren't actually answers to.
I don't know. I'm gonna keep bombarding you with questions I know you don't know.
Right.
Will answer.
I'm gonna give answers I don't know.
Ask him more stuff he doesn't know. It's fun.
This has been the This has been the SOULcast. This is fun. Let's hold on. I'm not trying to bury Bleach, but like I dropped Bleach. Genuinely, legitimately dropped Bleach because it's such a headache, and just to find out that all that. And you try to tell me these are only the Japanese Soul Reapers? Like,
you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say this. I like Tekking telling me about Bleach more than I like Bleach.
Tekking was actually like my first YouTuber I got introduced to. For the
I've told this story a bunch of times. He was the first. I turned him on for one thing, and I was like, all right, this guy's too much. Nope.
Let me tell you.
I get it. I was like, who is this cringy white kid? I was every episode, but I kept watching it. It's like, who is this nigga?
Right.
Let me tell you how, like, pretty much the only YouTuber whose content like I really ever checked out was Sawyer's, and then I got into King of Light.
Sawyer is so dope. He doesn't get the respect he deserves.
I haven't watched a single video of his. Is he good?
He's
literally
different than everybody else. I like him.
Sawyer's amazing. I got King of Light later because King of Light's energy and his enthusiasm, and so. But sometimes, like, I don't. His power scaling be making my head spin sometimes. I'm just like, what is he talking about?
Everybody's power scaling makes my head spin. Why the fuck should he be different?
Hey man, that's my bread and butter right there.
There's been a few times Sawyer said something about arming hockey, and I'm just like, and not just him, everybody. I was like, does everybody not understand that the hardening is in the more advanced application of arming hockey? And people seem to not get that.
Wait, they don't? Like, wait. What? So, what have you been hearing to the opposite of that? Like
I've been hearing people state that the sole reason that their arms turn black is because Oda added it to show you when they're using hockey, and I'm like, no, that's not true. That's called armament hardening. There's several times, even post time skip, where like I said, when the one prime example is when Tashigi was in Smoker's body. She tried to grab Luffy. Luffy grabbed her by the smoke using armament haki, not hardening, just armament haki. Grabbed her and started swinging her around and threw her. I'm like,
there's a difference.
Hardening is an advanced application of arm. So people was like, so I wonder if there's like, because so when Katakuri got when he started using future sight, you see, it was like a more advanced application of observation. People was like, is there going to be a more advanced application of armament? There is. It's called the hardening technique. They do it like.
Okay. First off, how? Oh, sorry. First off, how caught up are you? Are you finally caught up in One Piece?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So to that point, wouldn't you say Rio is the advanced of armament haki?
No, it's not Rio. It's called Exo Haki. Let's get on.
Okay, when was it ever called Exo Haki? I gotta get this.
Made it so.
Exactly. We need a universal term that everyone knows.
Exactly.
So here's my thing with that. I don't think that that's a more advanced, harder application of haki. I think it's just another application of haki. So in a sense,
Exo Haki.
So like what I mean by that is like whatever Luffy is learning, the Rio, Zoro already knows how to do in principle. It was proof when he beat Mr. One. Zoro the Flowers was teaching Luffy the exact same principles. So it's just basically what I'm saying. It's just the way I assume that people from Wano develop their haki, and I use my evidence for that is if you look at observation. If you see the way Luffy uses observation, where you can't lie to Luffy, and he could just tell how strong people are. You see the way Usopp uses it, where he could like clearly see differently, we've seen people.
Doesn't that go against what you were saying about?
It's not so much going against anything, but people are saying like, oh, Katakuri has this super advanced. You can say it's advanced, but my whole point is like it's just another way to use observation haki.
Well, then there's no advanced forms of anything if everything's different. No. Because you're saying
what I'm saying is they're all advanced forms. Like there's basic what observation haki does. There's literally what armament haki does, and then when you get Rio or hardening, that's just multiple advanced. Like one's not more necessarily wishy-washy harder than the other. There's no evidence that learning Rio is harder than learning armament haki because Zoro already knew how to do it before he learned how to use hardening.
Well, yeah, I would agree, but I thought you were saying that Future Sight is a more advanced of observation, but Rio isn't more advanced for armament.
No. So
you're saying they're all in a different category.
No, so you got like observation as we know what it is, like just basic observation is where you can sense your opponent's intentions and etc. and know where attacks are coming from.
Yeah,
there's
all your
that
senses to predict where they're going to go.
You got the super specific shit that Usopp does when he can like fucking see auras and aim perfect shots, or you got the thing Fujitora can seem to do where he, even though he's blind, he can visually use his observation to clearly see around him and stuff like that.
You know what I think about that? That's kind of like Daredevil's thing where he uses all the other information that his body's getting and turning it into like an image in his mind.
Or you got Luffy whose observation, like there's several times in the series, Oda has proven this. Like this shouldn't even be debatable, but Luffy can tell if somebody is lying solely because of his observation haki for some reason. Like several times Straw has tried to lie to Luffy, and Luffy's like, I'm like, you're lying. Like, what's the truth? Like Robin tried, Sanji tried, and Luffy's like literally when Luffy punched Sanji in the face after he brought him the food, he punched him because he lied. He's like, tell me how you really feel. I don't feel like, because, it's so, like, there's just certain people's, clearly, there's multiple ways to use observation haki, and there's clearly multiple ways to use armament haki outside its base applications. I'm just saying, I don't think either one's necessarily more advanced than the other. I don't see the evidence that Katakuri's future sight is necessarily more advanced or harder to learn or more specifically difficult than the way Fujitora uses observation. I think they're just using it in different ways because they have different skill sets and different battle tactics. Same thing with the armament haki, like the Rio technique, the whole thing about hitting everything and hitting nothing, and then Zoro learned how to do that already before he even knew what a haki was. In concept, in principle, he learned how to do it with his sword. So I just assume that's just the way people on Wano infuse haki with their sword combat. That's why Zoro can already do it. Like when he was explaining, if you go back to the chapter, in principle, how to do it, everything he was saying was literally what Zoro's teacher was telling him how to do to cut steel. It was just not being applied to a blade. It was being applied to his haki. So I'm not saying that there's nothing stated that's more advanced than simply going full body black armament. It's just a different application from a different country with different techniques different lifestyles and stuff.
And I get all that, but it's just confusing me as to like what, because you're saying one thing, but then you're also saying that one thing can't be true, because you're saying that there is an advanced observation and armament, but then there's also different variations of it, just like Future Sight, just like the feeling hockey from Fujitora and all that different stuff. It's just the way you're putting it. It's just like there's different categories for everything, and there's no real advanced of anything.
So what I'm getting at is like a lot of people are stating Luffy's learning Ryo right now because Ryo is a stronger form of hockey. It's the next thing he needs to learn. So it's the Super Saiyan 3 of hockey, right? He got his armament, then his armament hardening, and then Ryo. Yeah. And I'm saying it's just a consequence of Luffy just hit Wano. So it's the first time he could be exposed to the technique. It's not like it's any harder to learn than armament hardening. And like the concept of Ryo, Zoro, before even being told what it was, learned how to do it because he was taught swordsmanship by somebody from Wano.
Okay, I can definitely get that, because Odin was born on Wano, and it doesn't look like he have any of the other hockeys, but he does have Ryo, and that was enough to get him, through the new world.
Like when people are paralleling Luffy learning it now to it being this new advanced hockey he has to learn.
But it's also where it's placed in the story, because you got to look at it. He has almost all the other forms of hockey, but he can't beat Kaido. But the one thing he needs is Ryo. So it was like you would compare that, like, okay, he's gotten everything else. He needs to get stronger. And as he's getting stronger, he's learning a different type of Ryo, seemingly the only thing that can beat these top tier people. And like that's what separate him from like Yonkos right now. So I think that's why people are like saying it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like every other form of hockey, yeah, it makes you stronger. But it seems like this Ryo is the real shit. Only top people know how to do this. Only the admirals have really done the very hockey.
Reason why I say because Zoro's been doing that since Alabasta.
He's been you know what I'm saying, like
technique. He's been using the technique since Alabasta. He has been applying it towards hockey because he didn't have armored hockey, but in swordsmanship, he been using the whole. When Hyoga's went up to Luffy, he was like, "Yo, man, if you swing a sword, anybody can swing a sword and cut something down. But to swing a sword and not cut anything is real skill. That's the concept of Ryo." Zoro's been doing that for the longest time. So like that's what I'm saying. It's just a matter of where Luffy was and when he's learning it. I don't think that necessarily dictates to being like the difficulty of learning it or the advancement of the technique itself, because. But while Luffy does have all these other types of hockey, he can't use observation like Sanji can. Sanji was all the way over here at Just Rosa, and his observation let him know that Nami and the Sunny was in trouble with Doflamingo. He was like on the other side of the country.
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree there's different areas. It's just that I was just explaining where that thought of the Ryo being the stronger form came from, because power creep is real, and toward the end of the story there's always the stronger powers. Also, shout out to Prototype Virgo in the chat and Z-Boy. Just not seeing that, but yeah, man, that was a good talk. I actually got a better perspective of it like that. I'm still wrapping my head around it as I talk, because it's like I never really thought of it like that in completion, like every single type of hockey is just in a different space, and it's not necessarily one stronger than the other. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I appreciate that perspective. What were we saying, Valen?
Okay, no, you're wrong. All right, this is I'm letting y'all speak your term, but the fact is, it's called exo hockey. It's the same but different. It's outside the body instead of functioning as the body. That's literally the function of Ryuyo, everything. What we're calling advanced armor hockey. It's called fucking exo hockey.
You can't say it's called factually when you made it up. That's all I'm saying.
That's all.
You just Christopher Columbus Ryo. That's wild as hell. That's actually wild. Okay. So Valen, what were you saying that was different from us?
Just exo hockey.
Yo, I was ready for a lesson. I'm weak.
It is
trash.
I coined, and I'm trying to propagate, but yeah, it really does come down to a lot of the stuff. Like, you don't know that thing that Zoro told Momo to do while training. Like, why? Like, we don't know a lot of the things that Zoro learned from somebody from Wano. So yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone hear that noise? That like.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Loner, are you still alive?
I put down my cereal.
That nigga Loner dead.
He ain't dead.
He muted. All right, I'm gonna mute and see what's going on.
Hey Luna, you dead man.
Did it come back when I came back? Is it here?
This is Val.
Oh, it's Valen. That's funny. Look at Valen. Fucking up the chat. What's going on in the street?
Val.
How the hell?
That bomb I put in his PC about to go off.
Like,
Loner's heart monitor. God damn.
Z-Boy.
Yeah. There's no chill. No, for real. It's like, is Loner okay? Well, he muted, so I guess he's doing this cereal. Is that Cocoa Puffs, nigga? Oh shit. Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Cookie.
But yeah, no, Vulture, I truly believe it's a matter of just where, because, you have to travel to see, I'll put it to you this way. You got straight fodder, complete fodder in the Big Mom Pirates using Army and Hockey. Only because the area they live in is just, they in the new world constantly. So, that's just how it is. I think it is like an environment type thing. I'll put it to you this way. A lot of people say your environment dictates like the strength, like you'll be stronger depending on where you're born. I don't think that's the case because strong people are born everywhere, East Blue, North Blue, South Blue, whatever. I think, but the environment does. I guess is where the what's the word opportunities are at. Opportunities to learn, run into strong people. Like if there's strong people in the East Blue, North Blue, South Blue, West Blue, and they're all scattered and they go throughout the Grand Line. But when they get to the New World, they're all concentrated. So it's a giant cesspool, and they can learn from each other, and they could fight each other and constantly engage. But when you're just like a strongest fuck 17-year-old, low diff and everybody in the East Blue, you're not gonna learn a lot because
you're a frog in the well, man. Just like Mihawk told Zoro, little froggy in the well, and that's
I'm with Prototype on this. Just so y'all know, huh?
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, oh wait, what did he say? I know they're different, but I don't know about better than Luffy. Wait, I'm confused.
I said Sanji's observations shown to reach way further than Luffy's, like the other side of a country.
Yeah, like Luffy doesn't have a lot of presence hockey like that. Like he doesn't have Rayleigh levels where you can identify a whole island of niggas and what underwear they got on. Like that's Rayleigh, that's Enel, that's niggas like that. I feel like Luffy and Kobe is actually more closely related to anybody because just like Luffy can tell people are lying, that boy Kobe went ham when there was so much anger and malice coming from the Marines and the pirates during the Marineford War. He felt all that, and just like Luffy can feel when Rayleigh was behind about to smack him with that club, he felt his presence behind him and he ducked. And I feel like he's more of a what I'm saying, well, almost like Rayleigh, but not quite like Rayleigh. Like Luffy, his whole character is like in like a somewhat area. Like he's somewhat a Logia, somewhat a Paramecia. His observation is kind of like Future Sight, but it's not like Future Sight because it's weird. Because all right, so the very first time he used observation hockey in a fight with Katakuri, I've been talking to you about this for a minute. All right, so in your opinion, just real quick, just let me know this. Does Katakuri need to use? Can Katakuri only use Future Sight in his vision, like his field of vision? In your opinion,
what's up? Yeah, I know what's up?
I was asking what can Katakuri use his Future Sight in his field of vision? Like is it limited to his field of vision for Future Sight?
I thought it was confirmed that.
Do I think Katakuri can see the future or something that's going to happen behind him?
I've never seen a panel where something happened behind him and he saw the future of it and dodged it. It's always like in front of him.
I've seen that panel either. I don't think he's ever seen the future or something behind him.
I just wanted to set that up. So you need to see to use Future Sight. When Luffy first tried to use Future Sight, he closed his eyes and he did what? He sensed the area around him, and Katakuri took that as him seeing the future. So I'm like, there's a difference between Luffy's observation. Yeah, there's like a difference between Luffy's observation and what you call his observation, because Luffy, even when he was in the jail cell with Hugo the Flower, he was fighting someone else, and he wasn't even looking at Hugo. He was like, Hugo, what up? Yeah, Hugo will do this. He's sensing the people around him and what they're going to do.
But that's the thing. That goes all the way back to like even when you had Luffy was fighting Hody and Hody was throwing the water bullets at him, and it was like Luffy was just walking through and waving his head side to side because he knew where they were flying. You know, we've known observation lets you sense the presence of things around you. But you know, so are we getting to can Luffy directly see this will happen next, or hey, there's a guy kind of in that general vicinity, he's about to swing at you because I feel it. You know, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying like Luffy has a major, like not major, but it's a slight difference from Katakuri. Katakuri is I feel like observation is you hyping up your sense to like crazy levels to where any sudden movement, any sudden vibration, it can feed your body information and you can react to that. Katakuri focused all the senses, and like instead of increasing his hearing, his taste, his smell, all that, he just went visual. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I just want to say
Luffy's like kind of more balanced. But what
I just want to say real quick, this is my opinion. I agree kind of with Z-Boy saying. Luffy's a pretty good jack of all trades. He has good observation and good argument, and he has conquerors. I just feel, and there's ultimately, you know, like he's pretty quick. He's pretty damn strong. He can make himself faster. He can make himself stronger.
Katakuri was all that and more.
But no, I was just stating, I guess in terms of like, as a character, you know, Luffy is a good jack of all. And like, if you take like Zoro and Sanji, and you know, in my opinion, you don't have to agree, but I just feel like, you know, ultimately, like Zoro has more of a overall his stats. If you look at his armament and his physical strength, you'll probably be a little bit higher than Luffy's. You take Sanji, you take his observation and his speed, it'll be a little bit higher than Luffy. But Luffy is such a good balance of both of them that he's just such a good jack of all trade character that that's why he comes out on top.
That's interesting. Okay, so you talking about base Luffy. You take base Luffy versus base Sanji.
Luffy has forms. Luffy can
and the forms put him above both of them, right?
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, I don't know. Yes, the sound is gone.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna say it this way: like base Sanji is dust and base Luffy, but Luffy goes gear second, gear fourth, then who knows? You know what I mean? Like
I like that.
Or base Zoro, if they arm wrestling, base Zoro is like
don't make that face valid. You know what we're saying?
You know, but like Luffy goes gear four. Like okay, like if you get like Zoro, because Zoro is strong enough. Like Luffy has to go gear fourth to do. Zoro cut up a mountain in Pika. That's how strong his arms are. But like for Luffy to replicate that level of strength and kickback and air pressure, you have to go gear four. You know what I'm saying?
Quick question. You looping back around to the Rio or Exo fucking hockey. When he cut the stone,
feels good. Put it on your mouth.
Okay, so when he cut the stone, right? He cut the stone effortlessly. It was more his hockey than him cutting the stone.
We were supposed to end this podcast like 30 minutes ago, but
we still in these streets. When he cut the stone back in Alabasta, that was definitely Rio and the Breath of All Things and all that. Cutting the stone almost no effort. Same thing happened with the cliff in Wano when his Rio hockey was forced out of him with Emma Blade. He cut it by mistake. He wasn't even trying to do all that. So it's like, I don't know if we can attribute everything that happened with Pika solely to his strength. I just want to slide that in there because Rio's looking like it's making it almost as easy as moving your fucking arm.
You want to know what I think happened there? My estimate was, I think the hockey, when swordsmen use hockey on there, I could be wrong about this. Everybody could disagree here, but I think in One Piece, when swordsmen use hockey on their blades, is not to make the attack more powerful. From what I understood from what Mihawk told Zoro about making his blades black blades and not leaving a nick on the blade, I think what they're saying is that in One Piece, swordsmen are capable of doing techniques so powerful that if they don't have a high quality blade, their sword will break. And to compensate for that, they have to use haki to harden their swords up so they can swing as hard as they want to or as powerfully as they want to, do the technique, and their sword won't from doing it. I don't think the haki is making the attack stronger. I think it's just to not destroy their sword.
So it's like
that, but I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think it could be both.
Yeah, like
You know
there's
what I mean?
there's
Like-
defense of purpose and there's like offensive purpose.
Well, and the only reason why I said it, because I remember Mihawk specifically telling Zoro, like, and Zoro did it after he cut Pika. He took Waluigi Munji. He looked at it. He said, "Not a nick on the blade," because Mihawk told him, "Don't let your blades chip. Don't break your blades." You know.
So it's almost like that. It's almost like that. What you call it? That scene in Hunter x Hunter when Killua was holding a volleyball and Gon was like punching the absolute fuck out of it. and Killua's hands got messed up, and that dude on the side was like, yo, all you gotta do is use that super fast, you know what I'm saying, nin technique to move his hands out of the way at the last second with a little bit of nin on it, and he wouldn't do that. So it's like you have to find a balance between overwhelming power and protecting yourself while not sacrificing speed, because it's like if he put too much hockey, the ball would lose, like it would lose velocity and all this different stuff. So I get what you're saying. But Virgo is typing paragraphs in the chat.
hold on. Wait.
You're right though. I'm with him on this. I'm sorry.
I haven't read it yet. Can you read that for me? So I need to hear the
so
word.
Randy was describing observation hockey. Really said that those that can even go. Wait, hold on. I think damn it, the page went up. So okay, so Moretti was describing observation hockey. Really said that there are those that can even go as far as seeing to the future, implying that was an even higher level of observation hockey, or just a different way to use it. But as far as advanced armament, I agree that Zoro's may be stronger, but the melding of his Zoro fruit with his hockey brings about decreased armament output. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. We were saying like base Luffy against base Zoro. There's things Zoro can do better, but then the forms are to compensate for the fact that his base isn't as strong as Zoro and Sanji.
Like if Zoro was to, if you take armament and strength, I'd say Zoro got Luffy. You take observation and speed, I'd say Sanji has Luffy. But you add Luffy's gears and his hockey, then of course, I'm just saying Luffy's a good balance of the two of them. And that's not to say Zoro's not quick, but Zoro typically uses his speed and short bursts with quick draw sword attacks. And I'm not saying Sanji doesn't hit hard. Clearly Sanji hits hard, but it's just there's certain things they excel at. You know, Sanji's not the one being shown to pick up buildings and throw them, even though Sanji has like kicked giants into the atmosphere and shit. But I'm just saying, it's just one. Yeah, it's just like clearly they the reason why we always see Zoro working out is because Oda's clearly portraying Zoro as the meathead. He's the goon. He's he's the strong one. Luffy and Sanji are still strong. Like remember, like what I'm saying? It's just clearly. I feel Zoro was just like when he fought Mr. One, he got picked. I feel like Luffy and Sanji could have did the same thing, but he picked up that building and threw it at Mr. One.
Yeah, bro. Okay, so yeah, I feel like back then Oda was a little more heavy-handed with how he wanted his characters to be portrayed. Because if you notice, Zoro hasn't goddamn sniffed a weight, as far as I can tell, in the New World. But then it's like back in the day, this man was been pressing camels like it was nothing all the time. Like all you saw was him lifting. Like, I think he lifted more than he talked at some point. It was crazy. It was like he was heavy-handedly like letting you know this is a strong guy, strong man. Look at him being strong.
Yeah,
ain't
every
nobody
time
stronger than this
Zoro on
nigga.
the Sunny, he was lifting something. Every time he's
So I think you know what I'm saying. Let me see. Gotta go though. Appreciate y'all. Me and my girl watching Impale Down. Yo, this man Virgo getting it in for the culture. That's what I like.
Yeah, I'm about to head out as well. When I head out, I mean we could still say I'm talking about like in the stream because
you want to get sucked into another rabbit hole conversation. You know you do.
Well, it feel like that's easy possible. Also, my chair broke. So,
okay. Yeah, that's fun. That reminds me. I don't know if y'all saw that one video where that dude was like on stage and he sat in this stool and it broke, but it like the pole part stayed up and the seat part went down. Y'all see it? Y'all see?
Oh, but anyway, man, we're gonna just go here. We'll be back next Monday, 8, 9-ish, 7-ish, whatever the hell time. It's the SOULcast. We don't have an outro. It's your boy Hell Hydra.
Outro. Don't need it. We just thugging it out.